Oh man, I'm so tired. Jesus. I think it's funny. Morning. What up, Lodash? I think it's funny that people freak out about the cost of AI. Is all the people that are using Cursor and getting all their AI costs subsidized right now. If these companies don't find a way to like push down the cost of tokens and stuff, like at some point the subsidies run out and the cost of like Cursor and Windsurf are gonna go up to what they actually cost. It's gonna be it's gonna be an eye-opening day for quite a few people, I think. Hey bro, it's Jaleel. I just wanted to let you know I officially took off with the big day. I can't wait. Ah, sweet. I'm so excited, Jaleel. Thank you so much. Excited to have you there. Y'all, Justine and I were out until like 1:30 in the morning last night trying to, well, we did, uh, trying to rescue a dog that got out. I am so tired. I was like walking through poison ivy. I'm so bit up by mosquitoes. Yo, I wrecked Ironclad. That was so funny. As soon as I saw him post that original tweet, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Buzz, bitch. Yeah, we got the dog. Well, the dog was like contained, like there. It was just like a relatively large backyard, but it had like woods. It had a fence around it, but she was nestled in the back, and she's a rescue dog that just got rescued like within the past week. And the foster that we had got her to, she bit the foster and then ran, and then
So it wasn't like safe to just like straight up go up to her and like get her. So it was like it was a whole thing. We had to like trap her and corner her and trap her into a crate. I'm so tired. Right. Yesterday we got done the index. Nice. All right. So let's go back to V2. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. Let's see here. V2. Yeah, here we go. Get most recent sync date. And then I think we have to edit this. What is this upset about? Yeah, okay, this makes sense. Wait, actually, this doesn't make sense. Why would a synced transaction... She's a strong black woman, it's fine. I did watch Imola. Created at ISO. Yeah, here we go. Why? I thought we used Spectre to fix this. This should be created at ISO ISO full date. All right, that fixed some issues. Get sync record by ID. Yeah, okay. What up, Dell? Still reeling from the Ferrari comeback drive? Alright, why is this upset? Oh man, chat, today's gonna be a rough day. Do I need to get a sync record by ID? Ooh, we do, because I want to update. Maybe. Yeah, no, I will need. All right, we'll come here and we'll just use our second index. So we say by ID, and this is going to be this. Index is going to be GSI2. Let's see here. This becomes PK. We get field will be GSI2 PK. Composite. Oh god, I have the hiccups. It's awful. This will be GSI2 SK. Composite on that. I think we can leave that empty right now. It's not a very good partition key. We could have a partition still on like budget sync account ID and ID. And then this would just need budget sync account ID here, which is going to be on options. In fact, the ID should almost be not on the partition. It should be part of the sort. So for anyone that doesn't know, the partition key, you can think of a partition in DynamoDB as like a individual storage node. So every distinct partition key is its own like node where data gets written to. So you want to ideally have partition keys with high cardinality, so you're not constantly reading and writing all your data to single partitions, and it's kind of evenly distributed across partitions. So if you were to use something like just ID, that partition would only ever have one data record in it, which is not great. Whereas at least with budget sync account ID, it's grouped into a partition. It's partitioned with more data, and I could, let's see here, all of the sync records now will end up in the same part, in the like same node. It's still not the best. It's not great to like partition on just a distinct ID, but in this case it's going to be fine. It's like a level up from just the ID. Man, I am struggling to wake up. I had to like jump fences last night too to get to this dog. Crawl through the woods. Oh my god. My legs are cut up. I'm really hoping I got all the poison ivy cleaned off my skin. I don't get poison ivy. In fact, we don't even need this, right? Because that will... All right, we patch this. This needs the ID, which we have. That's what we're passing in. ID is sync record ID. And then we need to set. And that is options.status. Yeah. There we go. And now we get back. This should give us a single record. Return data. Yeah, we do get back a single record. Great. This is not sync. This is update record. We'll come in here and we'll say this will be budget sync. Sync record dot ID. And this will be sync record ID. Get some tracing on here. And then we'll say the status that we're going to update to. I don't actually have a cold. That's just me being insanely tired. Normally I wake up at like 6:15, 6:30. This morning I woke up at 7:55 and immediately sat down. I didn't even make coffee. I grabbed a Alani because it has 200 milligrams of caffeine compared to a coffee. Is the queue working this morning? Hopefully it is. Yeah. I just very tired. All right. Sweet. Let's see here. This is gonna go under here, and this will be get record by ID. I need to fix my ghost text. My ghost text is dog water. So we'll put that on there. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll do update. Oh, some All-American Reject. Oh no, this is Disturb. I thought it was All-American Rejects. Update sync record status by ID. And we'll come back here, and this is going to be that. I do want to listen to All-American Rejects, though. What an insult to Disturbed. It's just one of those days. I think that's the right song. All right, let's go update the interface here. This is gonna need get. This won't be sync. This is going to return an effect option of a sync record dot entity. And we can get an electro dB error or a I think that's right. All right, let's go make this type quick. What? How do we get here? What? Oh, we put them at the bottom. I forgot we did that. And then we want this one. Why would it do that? And this can return an electro dB error or a sync record not found. Okay, duplicate sync record. All right, we need that. This can return a duplicate sync record error, which means that can bubble up to here as well. Updated record, what are you upset? Types of property budget sync account ID are incompatible, string or undefined. All right, why are you upset? NED status. Data dot. Why are all these fields undefined? That seems sus, right? Oh, I need, this needs to be, response, all new. And that should fix it. Yeah, there we go. That fixed the type error. Okay. I just choked on my spit. We are doing so well this morning, chat. Off to a glowing start. All right. So we get the most recent sync date. And let's see, make sure this thing is implemented correctly now. Yeah, this can be way smarter now that we wrote that other function. This can be, this is going to be dot completed. And completed order by is that what we figured out? Is that we wanted to use the descending? Did I delete that file? Damn it. I did. I'm an idiot. I think that gets us the most recent sync date though. Or tokens expired, of course. Die quietly. That's so funny. I'm gonna start saying that. Justine's gonna murder me. Little days when I wanna wake up, everything sucked. That's so funny. I love that for you. All right, that looks good. That's what we wanted. All right. I used deodorant, sorry. All right, that looks good, good. Everything's good there. So back to the sync. So we get our most recent sync date. Then we decide if we need to... Wait, why do I run this twice? Get expenses by the group ID. All right, we are at a good spot here. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. Let's see if we can get this far. I'm gonna go ahead and yield star and just effect.log, and we'll log these splitwise expenses. And we're going to do I have to create a service here? I guess I can just run this, right? If we go back to main, I can get rid of all of this stuff. Dude, I was like going crazy in here debugging this weekend. Const. Yeah, we'll let me move that down here. Comment that, and then delete that, and we'll get sync, yield star sync, which should import, yeah, from v2, and then the test ID is that edf. All right, and what dependencies does this thing have? Sure. We want what did it say we needed? We needed the budget sync electro DB. Sync electro DB. And splitwise. Is that not a layer? Oh, right. And this will be dot layer, and that will have dot layer. All right, what do you not have yet? Oh, we need to provide merge. Duh. Duh. Budget sync, electro DB, layer, and we'll do the same thing with, whoops. This will be splitwise layer. And we can get rid of that. Now we can run that, and now let's run this. Hopefully we see some transactions pop up. All right, that's okay. We can work with that. All right, let's see what we got over here. We got new sync records, which is sus. These three should be gone. All right, so for some reason, let's go in here and fix this this schema too, so we can get some better encoding side error on. That looks like it's the expense schema. I mean, surely would have to be. I need to go blow my nose, chat. I'm also gonna go let the dogs out. Oh shit. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. Mr. Beauregard needs to go outside. I need to get like tissues in my office. Lover, we should fuck each other's mothers, fuck each other's moms. Bunching that lady where you came out as a baby. Ain't no doubt that shit is crazy. How's that for an entrance chat? Lonely Island is so good. So something changed here with expenses that they are coming back without budget sync schemas, expense. I'm a mother lover, you're a mother lover, we should fuck each other's mothers. Oh, that's interesting. It would be my honor to be your new stepfather. It would be my honor to be your new stepfather. I don't even remember what we were working on anymore, Bad Cop. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't even know what my channel point goals are. Right bash for the Bad Cop? So I forgot you have my Cloud API key. That's so funny. I don't think it's probably good anymore. All right, so what is this saying? Our error is saying that we have a encode side, so the information that comes in, comments is missing, which is sus. Comment count 1. Okay, comments is literally not on here. Do any of these have comments on it? Comments. I wonder if they changed their model. Because this one had been working. Or what happens when I get an expense? I bet I bet getting an expense. Well, there's get expense comments. Where's get expense information? Comment count. No, it just must not. I don't know how this was ever working. I'm not gonna lie. Don't know how this was working. I also... I guess we just get rid of this. Well, that looks like it worked. All right, let's see how that updated. We want to filter on this. My number 4 artist right now. Better that bad cop has it, so I don't. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, right, Fafi? Isn't that weird? And like considering like Splitwise just makes weird decisions with their data models and their API in general. Later this summer, I'm planning on building a app with Live Store, which is built by Johannes Schickling, the person who made Prisma, as a competitor. And it might actually end up being this whole app. Let's see here. What are Live Store? Where's the website? He just built a website for this. Livestore.dev. New website might not be released yet. Let's see here. Oh my god. I literally can't. Nobody saw me just struggle to use my mouse. Nobody saw it. We're going to ignore that. All right, so this is redirecting. I wish I could get to just the normal website. Livestore.dev is redirecting. Hold on, let me go see if I can find the actual website. Johannes. Schlickling. Hold on, I'm gonna see if Johannes sent me a link to the website in my DMs. I have a missed message from Pedro. Wait, what? Here we go. Live store. Nah, it's still design decisions, state of the project. Damn. All right, his website's not live yet, but in a month or two, we're gonna play with Live Store, and it's gonna be sick. It's one of the most impressive pieces of technology that I've seen in a while, and it's built with Effect under the covers. All right, back to what we were doing. All right, so we've got that working. V2 back here, and once we get the we should add a finalizer right here. Yield star. Do finalizers run during errors? They must. So we don't want to do that actually. I guess we would, right? Yield star effect dot add finalizer. Well, we'll come back to that. That's not super important yet. All right, I'm gonna open up the plan. So we determine the last sync date, fetch splitwise expenses with updated after equal to the previous sync time for each splitwise expense. All right, this is where we can start getting a little bit more organized, and I want to write helper functions rather than what we did last time, which was write it all in one big function, and it just got out of control quick. So we want function. There's an existing, we're going to call it handle or process. It's called handle. Handle expense. This is going to take a expense, which is an expense. Oh, this is actually interesting. I must have... Look, yeah, their model, it's optional on there. So I guess we could go back and make it optional. There, that will be good enough. So we get an expense, and during the expense, we want to get our existing transaction. So let's return an effect and get into an effects scope here. Gen function star into there. We should probably classify the expense as well. Yeah, we'll do that in a moment. So let's add our telemetry. This is going to be budget sync dot handle expense. And this is going to have some attributes, which will be, we'll just put the expense ID on. Splitwise underscore expense dot, or how have I done that before? Splitwise, is it, have I done expense? Yeah, we separate entities with dots, dot ID, and we'll just do expense dot ID. Yeah, okay. And then we need our database. So let's get our database. Const db equals yield star. Probably need both of those. And now we want to fetch. There's an existing synced transaction. Const maybe synced transaction. And this is going to equal yield star db dot get, we'll do get sync transaction by splitwise expense ID. We also need to yield the current account. So let's say budget sync account is going to equal to yield star. We need to import that. So we have a tag, current account from current account. So what we can do with this, which most of you have probably already seen last week, but we can do current account dot current budget sync account, which I should fix the name of that. So by yielding that, we can get access to the current account because we actually set that in scope up here, right? We fetch it, and then because of the way effects dependency injection works, if you look here, we will add on here effect.provide service. So what this will do is we'll say current budget sync account, and then we'll give it the budget sync account up above. Now, what happens here is that all effects recursively within the scope of this effect here, when they yield this tag, they'll get this value. So that's how we like scope the value, and we can basically just do yield current budget sync account anywhere in our program now and get the current user we're operating on. It's a really, really, really nice trait of effect that I love. Yeah, exactly, Buffy. Which I guess like kind of makes sense, but then like even you saw like the thing that makes this worse, Buffy, is that like where is the get expenses? So this right now is the comment count, and I think if I switch this over to grab comments, none of them have it on there. So even for the one, not that one, comment count is 1, there's not a comments field on this record anywhere, even though the comment count is 1. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I might have to go blow my nose again. You would think, dude. All right, so we can do expense.id, and then this is gonna have options, and that's probably just budget sync account ID. Yeah, and let's go ahead and destructure that off. Const budget sync account ID is going to equal budget sync account.id. All right, so this should give us a option. So if we get a existing let's start with the happy path. We'll say if option, we need to import that from option. Why can't I import that from? Oh, that is already the right option. Lol. If option dot is sum, maybe synced transaction. In here, we're just going to do yield star. We're going to return yield star new to do. All right. So then to handle the happy path, we have we want to handle. Let's just say handle expense. We're going to say we need to create a synced transaction, or we'll call it sync expense. Sync expense. Is that what we want to call? That's not really what it is. It's like handle new expense. Hello, everybody.
I hear you were talking about your adventures.
What?
I hear you were talking about your adventures.
With Jaleel?
Jaleel sent me screenshots and I was like, Jaleel, you can't be saying that.
What, that you're...
Yeah.
Can you shut that door for me? My OCD bothers me when that's open. I'm so tired. Chat was like, do you have a cold? And I was like, no, I'm just dead tired.
And we have seasonal allergies and we were outside for hours.
I actually don't think Spotify's API design itself is bad. I think it's reasonably good. I think their documentation and implementation of their API is what's bad. They're just bad arbiters of a open API. All right, let's write this out. So if there's an expensing, if there's an existing, if the expense is updated. So let's start here. Let's say this is going to be 2 instead of, we'll replace this with 2, place 2. And then 1 will be if there is not an existing synced transaction. So we'll say in here, 1, if the expense is deleted, we basically no op. No op. 2, if the expense is created or updated, we need to 1, create a synced transaction. I think I'm going to stop syncing expenses and YNAB transactions and instead just use the sync transaction rows. That's what I think I'm going to do. Create sync transaction. And we want to queue YNAB transaction for creation. And right now our sync transaction entity, what does that look like? We might want to make some changes to this thing. We might want statuses on this. I actually don't know if I want type on this anymore. That's gonna break some stuff, but that's okay, I think. By expense ID. I also don't think I want to do by type there because that's credit and debit. Yeah. In fact, I don't even want to do that. Delete to that. This is more like by budget sync account ID. In fact, I should have just renamed that. By budget sync account ID. Morning, Colin. Y'all, I got to hang out with Colin and pair program last night, and it was awesome. If you guys aren't following Colin, 100, I can't even talk, I'm so tired. You 100% should be. Colin works on some pretty dope stuff. Do you code at your desk? I've been facing a lot of back issues as I work in bed with very unhealthy posture. I do work at my desk. Actually, I tend to like work half the day at my desk, and then I will like sit outside on my patio or back here on this couch. Like I kind of rotate around. All depends. If I get really sore, I'll sit at my desk. because like sitting on a couch or like in my bed or out on the patio, like on not great chairs, makes my um, makes my back hurt. But we also talked shit on Nightshade Dude last night because he deserves it. Need to knock his ego down a little bit. All right. YNAB. So this thing doesn't have a status on it yet. Before we were using notifications to sync everything, and this had a status on it that could be locked. I wonder if we do like an event log. It's not a bad idea. Can't hear you down there. Get him, Priv. I do kind of like this idea of having a sync event. But do we need that? We can come back and add it. That's not super necessary. We still need a... No, we'll never have the same transaction, the same expense show up twice. So we don't have to worry about locking. So that, like, that, this refactor in and of itself, where I ended up, like I said, I got this working last weekend, but I got into this state where, like, I had this super complicated, like, locking system happening because, like, multiple notifications could be working on the same expenses. So I ended up, like, grouping expenses by IDs, and like I wrote this like sorting logic that would like sort the expenses by its type and then secondarily by its date. And I had like this do I still have this? Where is it? I basically had this like I had a map that was a map of a expense ID to a mutex, and that was inside a synced ref, so it could be shared. It got too complicated. I thought using notifications because we got away with notifications having like the indicator of what it is, like deleted, updated, created. I thought that was going to be useful, but it ended up hurting us in the long run because it made concurrency so much more difficult. So learned a lesson there. Sync record in progress, error completed. Okay.
Hey, I'm running to go pull cash out.
Cool. I was thinking
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now? Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't unmute. I was saying that we should be close to. Someone's got to win the keyboard soon, because the last time somebody won was September, and it's about the same amount of time that was between when I started the reward for the keyboard and when JD won. Yo, if Prue wins, I'm gonna have to ship it overseas. Damn, that was such a close roll, Colin. Like I literally took. I take the money. Well, the money I make from streaming, which is like next to nothing. After JD won the keyboard, for like the next 3 months, I set aside the bit of money I get from Twitch into a budget category. So like I just had like I have money sitting and ready and waiting for somebody to win. All right, let's get back to the sync. Through your vein, through your bone. And let's bring up our I guess it was plan document. Yeah. So let's create our sync transaction. And then we'll do const. We need like a function that is like handle new expense. Handle new synced transaction. And this is going to take, I don't know why I want to write function. Let's go ahead and get this boilerplate written. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, there's probably an ATM at Sheets. If not, there's surely like a bank within like 5 minutes up the road. Like there's certainly a small bank in the parking lot where Lowe's is at. Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know if it's like. You'll be fine. It's morning. All right. I'll talk to you when you get back. Bye. I'll send the search parties. I'll go get Deacon and the other one, Dash. All right. Bye, boo. Love you. All right, in here, let's get our pipe, get our span going. Exit from self is not what we want. Effect.with span. This is going to be budget sync, and this will be handle new synced transaction. And this is going to get. Actually, let's I kind of like this idea of. We'll get, let's say this is gonna have a type here. We'll just paste that, go back here, replace that with an H. This is gonna be read only. This is gonna need a going to take an expense. Expense. It's going to take a budget sync account ID to be a string, and it's going to take a sync record. This will be sync record ID, which will be a string. And I also want to, I suppose I also want to make, we'll do the same pattern we did for current account. And we'll do current sync record. Go in here and we're just gonna sync record entity dot entity, and then we'll come in here and budget sync. This is so ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous, chat. This will be sync record. Now we can get the sync record anywhere in the call stack. So let's go ahead and set that here as well. So we'll say effect.provide service. And this will take a sync record. This will be current I could just make a context, sync context, and shove it on there. That's actually not a terrible idea. No, it's fine. Bum 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 bum. So now we can get out of here. We can get the sync record, and we can just do a yield star current sync record dot current sync record. Love me some dependency injection. Not remember the song. Not remember the song. Down, down, down to Mephisto's cafe. There's a new Streetlight album in a month? Dude, I had no idea about that. Oh, man. That's exciting. Dude, that's amazing. I'm very excited for that. Down to Mephisto's. All right, so we're gonna create a new sync transaction, and so let's just do const underscore equals yield star. We need to get our database. So let's go up and grab that. And we can go 30 dB down, throw it there. Got our DB, and then we want to do yield star DB dot. It's like create synced transaction. Yeah. And what does this record expect here? Takes a budget sync account ID, which we have that, right? That's on our input. We are going to, we don't know if it's a credit or a debit yet. So we don't have all of this stuff. It's just, I want to get all these fields in here. It requires an amount. I think this is a milliunits. Right? Yeah, milliunits. Currency. Currency dot. We'll say decode milliunits. And we'll just say 0 for now. Then we need Splitwise expense ID and a YNAB transaction ID. This is actually a number. All right. So I think one thing that is challenging about this chat is that I don't want to create YNAB transactions one at a time because I was blowing through my rate limit. The rate limit is incredibly low for YNAB's API without like getting an official app verified, which we can do, but like I still should do this smart. Crabgrave, by the way, let's go. Effect has this concept of batching. Is anyone from the Effect team in chat right now? Or anyone that knows Effect and has used batching before? I don't think the docs are very great for the batching. So original, Nightshade. All right. Maybe we'll be all right. We're gonna try. I tried creating batching before and I got myself deadlocked. But we will try. So we need to determine the type of the transaction, of the expense. So we want to say, let's write a function here and we'll say handle, let's just say function get expense type. And this is going to take an expense, and that'll be an expense. And this is going to return either created, updated, or deleted. And we'll just say if we can rule out if expense.deleted at does not equal null. Is that what it was? Yeah. We will return deleted. Then I have no idea how to determine updated versus created. So this is a transaction I updated. And we can see created at is different from updated at, but I don't know how reliable that is. Okay. Okay. This is a non-updated transaction and these values are the same. The thing that I'm not sure on is this part. So the second transaction is going to be a payment. So there should be a payment is true. 513 D40. Okay, that is still the same. Because I had like this edge case in my old code. Because we're actually getting kind of close to how we did this before, my original implementation that I had running for like 5 years. YNAB. Budget sync. If we look at sync, I had this like for some reason, when a payment is made with Venmo, the initial created at and updated at timestamps are not the same. Okay. I wonder if I would like another way to determine if this was updated. In fact, I might be able to do this. Hold on, chat. Let me go grab the group ID from Justine and I have an idea. Does this, if I go here, does this put it in the URL? It does. And I can probably come in here and manage environments. This will be whatever, production, or Justine and me. I will say this is going to be group ID. Throw that in there. And then I can do dot payment, right? We can set the limit to 0 and we'll get a lot more. All right. True. I wish I could grab more. I wish this was like actual JQ. We're actually going to take this and come down to here, and we're going to go to AI chat. What just happened? Why did Olama spin up? Write a JQ query to pool expenses that have payment true. Select the ID created at, updated at, and amount. All right, we'll just do that. No, we'll do an amount. Read it from clipboard, or pipe the JSON in from clipboard using PV paste. Great, that's what we want. What the hell are we listening to, chat? I'm skipping this. All right, so let me grab all of this JSON now. So it's on the clipboard. And the command I want is going to be, I'm gonna have to type this out because I already have it on my clipboard, but that's okay. So the PV paste, that pipes into JQ, and we're going to get expenses. Let's see if this even works. Cannot iterate over null. All right, that didn't go to my clipboard. That should definitely be on my clipboard now. Yeah. Okay. In fact, we could probably just have AI do this. Now this is about principle. What the hell is happening right now? I'm like frozen. My terminal is actually frozen. Parse out what JQ was supposed to. All right, what is happening here? The message was too long. All right. Why do I have so many windows open right now? We'll go here, and then we'll go here, and we'll just have ChatGPT do this. Parse the first payment from this JSON.
Hey. They'll be here at 11.
11? Okay.
They, funny enough, are cleaning a house right there.
Nice.
So, I'm going to be in a meeting from 10 to 11.
Okay.
So, should we keep the dogs in here with you?
I'll finish decluttering and cleaning the kitchen when I'm done streaming, and then I'll just go sit on the porch with them.
Perfect. And
let me make sure I don't have to give like an interview or something stupid. No, I got a big block of focus time.
Hell yeah. Then we'll work from the porch today.
PogChamp. All right, let's try this again, chat. I think the context window might be too large. Message is too long. Damn it. All right. Dude, this is so annoying that I can't just grab star dot payment. So like we'll say 194. Unterminated. That felt like a bug. Yeah, that should be like the very end of the array. Okay, so now we can see, we can just scroll to the last record. Here we go. And this will be a payment. Payment. What? I thought that should be a payment. Here we go. Payment true. Created at is 1602. Updated at is okay. That looks like it's fine. Transaction method is offline. So that isn't necessarily with Venmo. Offline. Maybe that's fine. Let's just like grab 25 or like 100 or 50 and we'll go back further and see if I can get to one that has a expenses star dot payment. All right, let's just jump this back to like 120. Uh, 115. Here we go. And we'll just limit that down to like, I don't know, 40. 39. And now we know the last one's a payment. All right, so this is a payment true. Created at 41017, 41017. Okay, this actually seems fine. That seems safe. They must have fixed a bug. See you, Nightshade. Yeah, I did have a typo. Someone would say this question was too expensive to handle. Lol. Parrot dad. All right, so that does seem like a safe way to determine if it's created at. So we can come in here and we can say if expense dot created at is equal to expense dot updated at. This will be return created. Otherwise, we will return updated. Great. And we'll come in here and we can say like, where do we want to put that? I'm going to v-split back out to our plan. So we'll get the Bodhi, it's okay, big man. We'll basically come in here and let's get the const expense type is going to equal get expense type. Yep, that looks good. I guess that would be input.expense. And then we'll say if the expense type is deleted, we're going to no op. So let's just return yield star new to do we'll just say no op. And then if it's created or updated, it doesn't matter. But the thing I want to try now is we're going to try to implement the batched create. So yeah, we want to batch here pretty much. So let's just try to follow the documentation and create a batched resolver and request. So we'll say we're going to simple model setup, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We have that batching. All right, we're going to need a we'll say export interface create transaction request, I guess. That's going to extend request dot request and it will return what is this thing gonna return? Create transaction returns the transaction detail, no such element exception. That's a weird bug to have. We're gonna fix that. So let's just make a export. Do we have errors? I don't. Export create transaction error extends schema dot tagged error, and this will be this goes in here. That'll be create transaction error, and this takes our string and then a schema, and this will be budget ID, I guess. And that'll be just a schema.string. And we can put a cause, which will be a schema.unknown. All right, what is the way to do this? Ah, I see. What did I do? Where it went there. Yeah, there we go. I knew I was doing something wrong there. So this is going to return a transaction detail or a create transaction error. We'll do that. Export interface, that needs that. Can this be a tagged request? Ah, we can do a tagged request. That's okay. This needs a read-only tag is going to be you, and then this needs the budget ID, which will be a string, and then we need a read-only transaction, which is a YNAB new transaction. All right. So we created our, the next thing is we create the tagged request. So there's our request object. All right, we have a constructor. Now we need a resolver. So we want to do something like this. We're going to get an array. So this will be a resolver, and this is going to be request resolver dot make batched, and this is going to take a function. Give me some space here. This is going to take a function which has our requests, and let's just type it for now. This will be a read-only array of, which we can just do read-only create transaction requests, right? and that is going to return an effect. So let's say effect.gen function star, do that, to do, and then we literally just I think this is going to need a I think we're going to want an expense ID on this thing too. Because like I hate this example because they're using did they update this? They might have updated the docs yesterday. They did. Oh no, right here. Yeah. They need a way to map the result back to the equivalent request. And like, so we almost need to give each one of these like a unique ID. Like it almost needs a request ID. Which I know how we can do that. We can hash the memo. We can hash the memo. That'll work. So we don't have to pass that in. Okay, that's a good idea. I can live with this. So we go here and we're going to get our YNAB client. So let's say YNAB equals yield star YNAB, I think. How do I do this? This is going to be our tag, right? Yeah. YNAB.transactions.create transactions. First, we'll map these to transactions. So we'll say const transactions equals requests.map, and we'll get a request. And this is going to return in fact, we can just return request.transaction. So this will get our I think we can do something clever. I guess we can do budget ID equal requests 0 dot budget ID. And we can do budget ID and then transactions, I think. Effect.map error, and we'll get the cause, and then we can say new create transaction error, and this is going to have on it, oh, we can't get the budget ID very easy from there. So we'll just say a cause, and we'll throw the cause on there. It is not assignable to never. What did I do wrong here? Not all of these are closed. Are they? I guess they must be. Can a resolver not fail? A resolver can't fail. That's interesting. Interesting. So they do catch the error here. No, then this should be able to fail. Request. Let's just create transaction request. And then what is the second argument? The requirements, sure. That'd be YNAB. So now if I yield star this, and I map this, I'm gonna be super confused if this doesn't work. New, create. Oh, because I have to pipe and do all this stuff here. I see. I see. Uh-huh. Okay. Budget ID. This will be a schema.string. We'll at least add that now. And we'll come down here and just pipe for a second, and we'll say effect.ignore. Just to save our editor. All right. So once we get the transactions, what does this return? This returns us a hideous array of what I assume is created transactions. Transactions. We need to we need a way to go through these and complete them now. Because we have to go through and say complete request. I missed it before, but how did you implement the current user thing you spoke about earlier? I think I might be able to use something similar with auth to get access. So I just made a simple, I gotta wrap up in a minute, but I can show, I wanna try to get through this, but I have some extra time. So I created a really simple tag, Boffy, where it's just called current budget sync account. And the type associated with that tag is my like budget sync account, right? And then in the actual flow, in the actual sync flow, when we start syncing, I'll run from the top down. We go and we fetch the budget sync account. And then I do this like, I basically return an effect here. And this creates a closure. And on this effect here, I do pipe and effect provide service. And then I basically provide an implementation of that tag, which is our current budget sync account. And that's what we fetch from the database. And when you do effect that provides service, under the covers, what happens is for all of the effects in that call stack, so basically all the effects in this down recursively, when I yield the current budget sync account, I will get this value. But anything outside of this scope will not get this value. It's really, really powerful. It's like using async local storage in Node, almost. YNAB. So let's finish up this resolver here, and then we'll wrap up. So I think I actually want to group so let's write a quick little function here. Function get request ID. And this is going to take a request, which will be a, actually, does YNAB have a, or not YNAB, does Effect have a thing for this? Hash. Is that gonna work? No, that's not gonna work. We still need the ID. This will be a create transaction request. And this is going to return a string. And we're going to return hash dot hash. And it will be say string, and then we'll do hash dot string, and this will be request dot budget ID plus hash dot string of the request dot transaction dot the memo, or we'll do it's really the memo. What? Does this return? Oh, hash that number. And this returns a number. Let's just say 2 string 16. And that will no memo. Sure. And we'll do, just in case that happens, we'll do one more. And we'll do a hash dot string, and we'll do request dot transaction dot date. That's actually not what I want. All right, just like I don't know what is required on a new transaction. This is kind of annoying that all of these fields are optional. It's very, very annoying. In fact, we can enforce this. We'll say string, and we'll say date is a string, and the amount is a number. We'll enforce it on the caller. And now we don't need these. All right, that should be enough to pretty much always give us a unique hash. Let me just check Slack real quick before I try to write the rest of this real quick. All right, yep, I can wrap this resolver up. So let's come in here and let's actually come in here and do, we'll do transactions by request ID. And we'll do a, we can comment this out for a second. And we'll come in here and we'll say, this is going to be a reduce. And we're going to get the accumulator, the current request, and our initial state will be an empty map. Make this a function, and then we'll say if ACK get request ID request does not equal undefined. We will do, let's just do const request ID. Let's get request ID. Yep, that looks good. And then we can change in this to request ID as our key. We'll do ACK request ID dot push the request. Or I guess we'll push the transaction. Request by ID. Sure. And we get the type is going to be that we accumulate to is a record of a string to a create transaction request array.
Functions describe the world.
There we go. So now we have the request by ID, and we can get our transactions by basically doing transactions is equal to, we'll do record dot values of request by ID. And this gives us, yep, create trans. We can then do a flat map. And we'll get our request. And we will return request dot, wait. No, we want to flatten. Wait, what is request here? It is a... Oh wait, this will never be an array. This, I don't know why I made this an array. That was stupid. And that was a bug anyways. Yeah. Hold on here. Dot transaction. Does this flatten for us? Nice. Nice, chat. It's exactly what we wanted. Let's in here add types dot simplify. And that should make this type a little bit prettier here. Yep. Okay. Now we come in here and we can pass transactions. Created transactions. We actually don't even, now that I think about this, it's basically all or nothing. It's possible we don't even need the request ID. Oh, no, we do. We do. I think I might wrap this up tomorrow, chat, just because we have to do some mapping back. Request budget ID. Yeah, we'll wrap this up tomorrow. And let me write the note to do on Thursday. We are going to map over created transactions and maybe we can do this. Hold on. Maybe we can do this quick. Hold on. Yield star effect dot for each, and we'll say created transactions. We get a transaction, and we can come into this function, which needs to be an effect. Effect dot gen function star. We're gonna speed run this. This will be const request ID is going to equal get request ID and what's this gonna need? Sure, I don't even care. We'll clean this up. Budget sync, budget ID, and then the transaction. Yield star effect.void. This is a oh, that's an effect. Right. Oh my god. That's so annoying. This is where we might be able to do the hash. All right, and now we can look up the I wonder if we could actually, I don't know. I'll have to dive into Explorer if we could just resolve the created request without looking it up. Request by ID, and we'll get That should technically work. And that should technically batch our requests. All right. We'll come back to that tomorrow and see if we can get that working. But in the meantime, I got to wrap up and do the day job. Let me do a raid, and we're going to raid Project Jack. Yep. Yep, let's raid
Functions describe the
Jack.
world.
Alright, y'all, go show Jack some love. Probably working on some Rust stuff and Gleam stuff. So, enjoy. Yep, working on Gleam. Have a great Wednesday. Happy hump day.